Hello and welcome to A Girl in Sweaty Spandex. This is Lauren Truslow and I'm here to be real and break down the impossible standards of women while turning up the positivity and self-love. And today I would love to talk about the catalyst, the spark, those life-changing moments that can change the trajectory and the path of where we are going. I feel like there are just moments in our lives that can take us in a really, just a big direction. You know, something life-changing, something can define who we are, what we do, how our life is. And I feel like I've had many moments in my life like that. And I feel like I have this conversation a lot. I don't know. People are like, oh, I wish I did, or I should have, or, you know, I thought about that and then I didn't follow through. And I'm sure I have had plenty moments of that as well. But I obviously am highlighting the ones that I found that spurred my life on in a different direction in a really positive way. So I feel like the very first one is when I was in high school, and I dated the same boyfriend all through high school, freshman year to senior year. And I was going to go to a university and he was going to go to a different one, and we were all set to go. And then he swung and said, no, I'm going to go to the same one that you're going to go to. And I remember my mom, I told her, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great, exciting news. And she said, oh no. You can pick another school. Absolutely not. And if you can imagine saying that to a teenage girl who, you know, me and this boyfriend have been together for 4 years, that's a long time. And I thought, oh my gosh, life changing. Like this is what's going to happen. Then we'll get married and blah, blah, blah. She was like, no. And so I had to, and it wasn't because, I mean, he wasn't a bad guy. She just wanted me to be able to be independent and go spread my wings and find out who I was first. She's like, if you go, you'll have had the same boyfriend through high school and then have the same boyfriend in college, and you'll never get to be you. And at the time, you know, hate's a strong word, but I mean, it was a knockdown drag out, obviously. My mom stuck to her guns, and, you know, it could have gone bad, you know, as a teenager. God only knows what you know, there's some crazy things. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So I ended up coming to South Carolina, and I think that moment, accepting, yes, okay, I'm going to move 5 hours away to South Carolina. I'm going to be on my own. Where basically, like, there was 2 other kids from my hometown that came here, and start fresh. Like, it was a really defining moment for me. And it would have been easy to just, forget it, like, absolutely not. I'm going here regardless. And I guess, I don't know, maybe bullied my mom into letting me go, but maybe I knew deep down inside she was right. And so I went in that path, and it changed my life forever. And I'm forever grateful for that. She told her that years ago, and she's like, I'm sorry, let me just say it one more time. Say it one more time. I'm like, I know, you were right. You were right. So sometimes it's a forced catalyst and a forced spark, but you have to be willing to have your head and your heart open to accept that, because sometimes it's hard to hear. That one was hard to hear. Change is also scary, but I mean, forced opportunities in front of us can maybe knock that scared level down, and just sometimes you just do it. The next one was when I opened Bar 3. Obviously, that was my first business I opened, and I wasn't even 30 yet. We had an 18-month-old, and I remember thinking, gosh, I mean, at the time, boutique fitness really didn't exist, at least in our, you know, side of the country. And, you know, bankers were saying, I don't even know what you're doing. Like, no, you know, I got no a bunch of times. And I could have taken that as signs to say, okay, no, I shouldn't do it. I should just stop. But I really did believe, I think that's another big part of the spark and the catalyst. Like, you got to believe that you can do it. And I believe that if I believe I could pay back all that money and all the loans and that we would be successful, and that it was the right thing for me and my family. And so that was a big undertaking, obviously, and kind of a fake it till you make it. Like, you were in the middle of construction, and I'm like, construction? Like, I don't know what anything is. You know, you just kind of fake it till you make it and figure it out and roll your sleeves up and do the work. And so that moment of saying, yes, I'm going to get on a plane, fly to Portland, Oregon, audition. I just really put myself out there. Again, changed my life forever. One of the biggest, probably the biggest spark to date. Another moment that was when we used to be on a different street. We moved, our downtown location used to be on a different road in Columbia. And I'd always said I wanted to open something else, but my landlord at the time didn't know. He just thought I needed more space because we were so busy. And he said, hey, there's a spot that opened up next to your studio. I didn't know if you needed some more space, so I wanted to throw it out. And at the time, that's when my fourth, I think he was like 3 months old. Not the greatest time, but sometimes opportunities present themselves to you, and it might not be ideal time. There might never be an ideal time. You could paint the picture in a million different directions on whether it's the right time or not, but sometimes you just got to jump in 2 feet and do it. And that's when I said, you know what, I've always wanted to do this like boutique nail salon concept, and this space is probably perfect. And if I don't take it, somebody else will, and I'll miss my opportunity, and I might never do it again. And that's probably true. If I didn't do it then, I probably would have never done it. And that was kind of the same thing that happened for the nail bar at the lake. Is a spot came open. Again, less than ideal timing, but sometimes the catalyst is kind of served up to you onto a platter, and you don't really have the choice of when the timing is, or what's going on in your life, or what's happening in the world, and you have the choice to go for it or not. And so it has been such a great learning experience. Bar 3 was a franchise, and the nail bar was something I just had to create on my own. And I had to do a lot of learning and a lot of, hard work. And that spark it's been really cool to watch. Kind of in that same sense, it was a December, and I had to write a rent check. It was our downtown building, and I wrote a rent check, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is ridiculous. I'm paying this much money for something that is not great, and I wish we were somewhere else anyways. So I made a phone call, and one of the commercial real estate guys was like, actually, at this building, the restaurant fell through, and maybe you should come look at it. So it's December, and you're buying Christmas presents and all the crazy things, and buying a building probably not on the top of the list. I had the twins, and I had Peyton, and life was crazy. No, I did have Gunnar, I think. I did. No, I had Gunnar. I had all 4 kids. I just put everything in timeline of where my kids were born. And, just a lot going on. But I knew if I did not jump on that opportunity, it would be gone in a second, by the way, because this is one of the most popular streets in our town. And that was a huge spark, a huge catalyst that pushed our businesses and everything into just another realm. And it was scary. I feel like a lot of these forks in the road can be really scary, and there's no crystal ball. There's no magic 8 ball. There's no way to say, is this a good decision? I remember I was talking to my contractor he's a friend of mine, and I was talking to him the other day, and he's like, do you remember you were so nervous? And we were just talking about all the conversations we had at that time. Construction is his thing. Fitness is my thing. So taking that leap was scary, but you never know how it's going to turn out, and there's no risk, no reward. You kind of got to go big or go home. And when we moved into that building on Divine Street, I knew that spark, that catalyst was going to push me into that next direction, which was amazing. And we're so happy here, and it has changed. It really did change the face and the vibe and everything about our businesses. And so that was really exciting. So here's the thing. There are times that there are moments that come before you, and you're like, you can't jump on every single one. That's the hard part. Like, again, there's no crystal ball. Recently I was like, okay, I think we need to do X, Y, and Z for, one of our particular businesses. I think you have to do your due diligence and make sure you are, don't just feel like, oh, that would be fun, and I need to go out and spend all this money and do all these things. Sometimes you do have to pause and like, okay, does this make sense? Do as much as you can of the homework to make sure you are making a good decision for you and everybody around you. And recently I was like, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Did the homework, talked to the professionals. They were like, this doesn't make sense. Like, financially, let's look at all the things. So we squashed it. There are moments that can also, it's a risk, can go great, and others that can go terribly. And it's part of life, obviously. But I do try to make sure that when I see these sparks, that I am putting the homework in and the time to evaluate, talking to different professionals. I am not, I've done this for a long time, but there are a lot of people around me that know a lot more. And so pull those people in and get advice and take, write it down, the pros and the cons. Let's talk about the numbers, all the things. It doesn't matter if it's business. A lot of my examples are business related, but it changed. Those are just kind of the ones that really stuck out and made me think about the direction of my life personally. But I think I use a lot of head and heart combined. I'm a big go on your gut feeling. So an opportunity presents itself to you. What does your gut say first? Which is really like what your heart is saying. And then use your head and let's evaluate it together and think about what are the implications, what the outcome could be in both directions. And then you got to believe that you can, because I think the confidence piece is huge. When this catalyst presents itself to you, you got to believe that you can do it. There are a lot of times in my career and a lot of, I'm not going to say people, but a lot of, just like, oh, what is she doing now? Questioning, is this a good idea? And I feel like I never wavered within myself that I was capable. And that's the most important part. You can drown out the noise, but when you see something, that spark in front of you that you feel like could be life-changing, believe that you can do it, and remember that they're really no risk, no reward. So as we go through this new year, and just kind of look at the opportunities, keep your eyes open. What path is your life going to go down? And be open to it, and head and heart, ready to receive. Because I feel like those moments in life, I cannot imagine if I did not come to the University of South Carolina. I cannot imagine if I didn't open Bar 3. I cannot imagine what my life would look like if I didn't open the nail bar, if I didn't buy Divine Street, or have, so many crucial things that changed who I am as a person and how my life is. And I think sometimes we just got to be ready to receive them and take that spark and just turn it into a flame. So I want you to leave here, and I want you to, maybe make a list some things that have happened in your life, or things that might come up this year, because it's a new start, a fresh year. It's kind of exciting. And see what journey your life will be heading on this year. And remember, you are smart, you are beautiful, you are loved, you are amazing, you are enough, and this is going to be a great year. I will see you next time.